Bum bum ba dun 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 dun. Oh, that was supposed to be the funeral march. I think it's the Star Wars theme tune. Sorry. Hello. Welcome to ABW Live. How the devil are we all? I can guess it's not great, but hey, worst things in life, you know. Not the greatest result tonight, guys, but we got plenty in the chat box and we got people ready to talk about the game. So let's have a look at the chat box first and foremost. We got J Rob, we got Ann235100, MJL, Daz316, K-Man 1867. We're missing there. Danny the GFP. He's in and out tonight. He's got people run for dinner. Interesting life. Peter Green's there. Tim Hardwick's there. Is that Tim Hardwick? Yeah, it was Tim Hardwick, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, Tom Hardwick. Sorry, Tom. My apologies. I'm getting old. Stan the Man 450's there. Fred Flintstone's there. Daryl Kane's there. Anik's there. Hypno Show's there. I haven't seen you for a while, Hypno Show. How are you? Ben Heron's there. I know. Archie, hi mate, you right? Thomas Mickelman says there. Hi guys, you okay? Not the greatest result, not the result we were looking for. Really disappointing after Chelsea, but we'll get into it in a second. Before we start tonight, everybody on the podcast would like to send their thoughts to the family of Emiliano Sala. Things like that put tonight into perspective. It's not the end of the world. Worse things happen, and it's just sad for him, his family. Just terrible tragedy. So our best to him, his family. On to brighter news. It's the Pirates' birthday today. Yes. Chris Carpenter is 49 today. And if you look on my timeline on Twitter, I've put his best photographs up on Twitter for everyone to see. So Chris is extremely happy about this. They're his finest moments in life, okay? So go on in, go wish Chris a happy birthday. I do miss him, He's always wrong. He knows nothing about the Farmers League, but he's a good boy. Happy birthday, Chris. So let's get on with it. Tonight, my guests are... It's the one, it's the only, it's Freddie Hussein. Say hello, Freddie.
Oh, why would you tempt me into swearing at you with my first words? I forgot how hard it is to come on here after a loss, and it's just made it even worse with already being passively bullied by Jason Davies. I can't wait for this show. It's going to be amazing.
I tell you what, okay. Ellis is the life and soul of the party tonight. What can I say? Oh, he's a joy. But, tell me, people, am I wrong? He looks like Freddie Hussein, doesn't he? That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Well, also tonight, he's the one and only. It's John Welsh. Say hello, John.
Hello, John. How we doing, Jace? You good?
Surprisingly, yeah. I mean, the game's annoyed the hell out of me. But, hey-ho, I don't know what to say at the moment. It's all a bit nuts. How are you, pal? You right?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I missed last week. See, look, I missed the Chelsea game. I missed the game where we win. I took the day off specifically because I thought we'd get hammered, and I come on for this one. I've joned it up. Terrible. But I must say, J Rob straight in there with the donation, €5 in. Guys, it's all going to be okay. Trust me. Chris 49 has a good laugh at that. He's a good lad, though. He is a good lad, is Chris. But thank you very much, J Rob, for the donation. They always cheer us up.
They do. Thank you, J Rob. You're an absolute rock star, pal. Thank you ever so much. I mean, it's difficult on nights like this, isn't it? I mean, last week, to be fair, everybody's wanking over the performance, and we did play well, but Chelsea didn't attack us, and I think that's the difference tonight, isn't it? John, straight to you. Lineups, no Ozil, again, formation. Slightly different to the Chelsea game. What were your thoughts?
Lineup didn't concern me too much. The slight change in the system I thought was interesting. Originally, I thought maybe he's going to go with a 3 again, and maybe it'd be Iwobi would be sort of doing what Ramsey did in the Chelsea game. We'd have 2 up. But from the first minute you saw, he went with more the sort of 4-2-3-1. I didn't necessarily have an issue with it. I'm not sure what else he can do with the team at the moment. There was a possible argument for Jenkinson as the right back over Maitland-Niles. I don't think it's Maitland-Niles' best position. He's got pace, and I think he can play down the right-hand side, but I think defensively he's a little bit suspect. But he's still very young and learning, so that was sort of the only one up in the air for me. But otherwise, I thought, team made sense. As for the Ozil thing, I guess at least he's making it on the bench now. Jace, you've muted yourself.
Yeah, sorry. My exact words to that were, well, yeah, I'm going to mention nicking a living later.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what else he could have done with the team, to be honest. There's no one else to pick, really. Realistically,
the one thing that sort of I look at it, I think that 4-2-3-1 just leaves us too short in the middle. Do you know what I mean? And you saw Pogba racing through there today. It is full of ambition. It has worked. Do you know what I mean? And actually, we will get on to this later, but if we'd have turned our pressure into goals, we should have won that handsomely.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's a little bit disappointing is the fact that we didn't start with 2 up in the way we did in the Chelsea game. Just, it is a home game. I know it's United are obviously on a very good run, but I just thought you need to pressure them a little bit more. I know people take the piss out of Ashley Young and Luke Shaw and stuff, but they're not bad fullbacks. And playing Aubameyang from the right-hand side just seemed very weird to me.
Yeah, we don't utilise Aubameyang's pace. That's my problem. If you look at the way Lacazette brings people into play, I don't get it at times, but never mind. Ellis, on to you, pal. We had an early chance. Iwobi to Lacazette. He mishits it. Then United get a chance. Check blocks from Pogba on his line. Maitland-Niles gave the ball away, but it was a poor ball to him and put him under pressure. It was a typical cup tie, wasn't it? It was back and forth early doors.
Yeah, there was a lot of action in the first half for sure. Again, with John, I didn't think we started quite out. I think of the two teams, United probably started on the front foot a bit more than us. They were eagerly on it, and they played in the way they played against Tottenham, where they just pressed and tried to win the balls further up the pitch, and it was paying dividends for them early on. But we also managed to break the lines and create some chances for ourselves. And of the two, I think, obviously we'll come on to them in a bit, but I think United were more clinical, and their pressure was more alarming for us as defenders than it was for them. I think they controlled us pretty well in the first half, and we just couldn't really make anything from it. Again, I was a bit worried when I saw Czech's name on the team sheet, because I thought United are going to try and press us, judging by the team they had out. And Czech has never really been good at playing out from the back. We've seen him when he tried to start before Leno really cemented his place in the team, that he wasn't good at that. And you've also got sort of players coming in, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who again, he's not a defender. I thought he did really well. I think he kept Sanchez quiet when Sanchez was on the pitch. And then you've got Kosh and you've got Sokratis, and then when you've got the injury to Sokratis as well, it was just a bit too much. And I think when we've got a fully fit squad, our defence isn't great anyway. But when you start taking out those players that you'd say were our starting back four, then we really do look like we're sort of struggling. And that's just something we've got to deal with. We haven't got the money to bring in anyone in January, and we're going to have to wait until the summer if we're going to make any sort of reinforcements there. It's just what we've got to make do with what we got, and it's a shame. And United are on this sort of run of form. Coming into this game, they've won however many games that Solskjaer's been there. And I thought hopefully with the Chelsea result, we were going to sort of turn our run of form, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I asked you, it started off like a proper cup tie. It was back and forth, wasn't it?
It was. But what else should we say on that? It was back and forth.
Oh, never mind. That was your thoughts on it. Oh, God, here we go tonight. John, Aubameyang lost control of the ball after being played in by Maitland-Niles. Creating chances or creating half chances early on, but we weren't really, making the most of them where we, we struggled to turn pressure into goals.
Yeah, we had. I actually disagree a little bit with Ellis. I thought we were the better team up until the opening goal. We looked more controlled. I thought United were scrappy in possession and a bit sloppy with it. And although they broke a couple of times, they really didn't do anything other than the Pogba chance. You said the Czech pulled off did the save. And I thought we really got at Ashley Young down down Man United's right hand side, and using our left with Kolasinac and Iwobi. The tag team of them two have been playing pretty well when they've been used consistently, at least going forwards anyway. But it was, again, final ball wasn't there, or the touch from Aubameyang wasn't quite there. I gotta say the movement up front today wasn't amazing. And I think you lose a little bit when Aubameyang's playing so far to the right as he was tonight. You lack that because Lacazette is more of a back to goal and plays off of people and brings people in. You don't quite get that. Ramsey was obviously roving around and trying to make space and everything, but it's just Iwobi was good, but final ball wasn't there. Kolasinac was good going forwards, wasn't as on it tonight because he was a little bit worried with Lukaku running in behind him as well. Otherwise, I thought we started the game pretty well, and had that end product been there, then maybe we, one or two of those sort of half chances becomes a little bit easier for our strikers or Ramsey or someone else to get on the end of and finish.
Yeah, it never quite gels for us, does it? It's a bit frustrating, but I think that's what comes from chopping and changing a team so often. You're not giving these guys a run together to get that understanding that they need to give consistent performances. Quick shout out to Mr. Architecture 1 and Optic Hagby or something like that. You are a pair of wank stains, and thank you for the views. We really appreciate it. Now, it would be nice if you could learn to read and write properly, but you can do that elsewhere. Go fuck yourselves. Take care. Good night. Adios. That's better. Ellis. Then early doors, Sokratis comes down awkwardly on his ankle. It just... Our luck couldn't get any worse, could it?
No, and I alluded to it earlier about our defence. They're not great when they're all fit, let alone when you lose Rob Holding, you lose Hector Bellerin, and now we've probably lost Sokratis for a number of weeks, maybe months, depending on how bad the injury actually is. Watching it in real time, I wasn't really sure what had happened. At first, I thought maybe he'd been hitting the head going up for the header, but then you watch it and he just lands on it funny. I'm not sure what he's done, whether it's what he's done to his ankle or with a knee or whatever he's done, but it's just so unfortunate. And I know you've probably had your bugbears with Sokratis, especially when we signed him, but for me, I think he's been really good, especially since watching him and Koscielny against Chelsea. I thought they both worked really hard.
Hold a bit. Against Chelsea, mate, okay? Chelsea didn't put anybody in the box. They didn't run at us, okay? The Chelsea's performance against us was absolutely limp. Okay,
I disagree. They had a lot of chances in the second half. I was watching that. They put their bodies on the line. They blocked balls. They had balls in there. Yes, there wasn't any presence in the air.
They did play well. I'll give them that, okay? But you look at the difference in intensity tonight compared to the Chelsea game, and there's your difference. Okay,
but Sokratis, when he was on the pitch, there wasn't any goals scored.
He went off for 15 minutes, mate.
Yeah, but when he was on the pitch, he played all right, and I felt from what he'd built on with Koscielny in the Chelsea game that he was doing okay.
Okay.
And I think we missed him when he came off. But we can disagree. It's fine.
I wouldn't disagree with us missing him when he went off. I think that's a fair comment. Yes,
but
what I'm trying to say is, when you look at the two games and compared to each other, United really pressured us tonight. They went after us. Chelsea didn't do any of that. They ran at us. They really put us under pressure.
That's fine, but that wasn't my point. I wasn't debating whether the two teams one put more pressure than the other. I was just saying that we really missed Sokratis coming off, and that's what I was trying to make the point of. I felt he made a good partnership with Koscielny. It's the first we've really seen them together, other than when they've been in a back three, which I've not been keen on. And if I was going to pick, obviously with injuries permitting, if they're all fit and well, I'd pick Koscielny and Sokratis to play together. And it's just unfortunate that from something they could have built on from Chelsea has now been broken up by literally just jumping up and landing down. And it's as bad as that. Again, the Hector Bellerin, there was no sort of maliciousness in when he popped his ACL or whatever he's done. He was just stretching for the ball and it popped out. And again, Sokratis just something. It's just poor luck and it's frustrating. And we've talking about how it's hard for the guys to sort of build any cohesion when they're not playing to each other because Emery's chopping and changing the tactics and the players. But partly he's forced into it recently, certainly a lot, with all these injuries. I'm not sure if like all the good luck we had in that unbeaten run has all gone away. It's now turned to bad luck and we're now bad luck with injuries. But it's going to be difficult, especially for the race for top four. When you look at how deep that Man United squad is, and you look at how not as much depth that we have, and then we've already got injuries on top of that. It's going to be hard for us. It's going to be a struggle, and we don't even have the resources currently to improve on that.
Yeah, it's excellent. Before I go to the donation, I'd really like to thank all the United fans for the views. We really appreciate it. Keep on viewing us, guys. This is brilliant. You're just going to push our fingers up. Thank you ever so much. J. Rob comes in with another donation. And he says, people, come on, tappy. He means that like button, people. Come on, let's have a go. We gotta do this after another loss. It's frustrating.
United fans watching, you can press the thumbs down button if you want, because that works just as well. That's perfect.
Yeah, we don't give a monkeys, Oh, I tell you what, how sad are they? How sad and pathetic are they? That's the highlight of their day, okay? They come on here and they say something not funny, and then they think, oh, look how clever I am. Aren't I the brightest? Fuck off and watch Harry Potter. Go on. Take care. Goodbye. John, we get in a... So Mustafi comes on for Sokratis. To be fair to Sok, he tries to play on, but it was obvious it wasn't right with him, was it? You could see the pain in his face. But we still kept on going. Iwobi had a chance. There was he shot for goal. It was he didn't do anything with it. There was a nice bit of interplay with Lacazette. He could have squared it, but I think he's got to take the shot there, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's entitled to it there. I thought all game, to be honest, he was doing the right thing. He wasn't always doing the same thing. He wasn't always running to the byline. He was coming inside against Ashley Young as well, and he was making him, asking questions of him. And I think he's entitled to the shot there. The other thing as well, you take the shot from that angle, maybe Romero gets a hand to it or comes off the defender or something like that, and you get a little deflection and you might get a goal that way. So, yeah, I haven't got any problems with him taking that chance on there.
Nah. It's it's one of those. Lukaku and Pogba missed a great cross. We got away with one early doors there, didn't we? It was one of those balls across the line where you thought one of them was going to get it, but no, they just couldn't finish it, could they?
No, it was a great ball in. It was just inches, centimetres maybe away from coming off some part of Pogba and going in the goal. And it was a heart in mouth sort of moment when that ball came in, but we rode our luck and it didn't go in. And that's just frustrating. You could see what their game plan was. You can see, and the commentators made a point of it on BBC. Kolasinac, as good as he's going forward, he's not as good as tracking back, is he? Let's be honest. And Lukaku was in that sort of space waiting for the ball when Kolasinac was so far up the pitch trying to cross it in. He's in that area behind him, and they found a lot of space down there, a lot of fruit. And it happened again in the Chelsea game, but like you alluded to, they weren't as clinical. But Man United today, when they got their chances, they were clinical, and when they got in those spaces, they really punished us. And it's just one of those things. They got their game plan right, and we didn't.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think Solskjaer out tactic us tonight, and when they did break or when they did put pressure on us, our defensive shape again falls apart. I keep on hearing commentators say, "Oh, our defensive shape looks better," but John, our defensive shape is a joke at times. It really is. And for the Sanchez goal, you had Mustafi and Koscielny shoot out to play offside. Xhaka's just stood there playing Lukaku on side.
Mm.
He delivers the cross. And I mean, you know, it's absolutely... Yeah, I don't get where people say our defence has improved. I do not get it at all. Because if you look at our goals against Column this season, and you look at that goal, it's pathetic.
I'm confused as to what exactly Emery told, in particular, Torreira to do tonight, because we know. Look, I love Lucas Torreira, and I think he's a very promising player. He's got a long career ahead of him. Still, he's only 21, 22 or whatever. But he was so high up the pitch at times, and I know Xhaka played on Lukaku, obviously. But why is it that if you're playing in a team where the fullbacks are really high up in the way we do, and they essentially play as wing backs, even when we're playing as a back four, there's going to be space in behind. They clearly exploited that. They played with a two strikers split. It's what they did against Spurs as well. When it's what I kind of expected tonight. Like Ellis already said, they're going to break on us. So that means that your two midfielders have to sit. They can't really push on that much, and you can't press against the team that is going to counter in that way. You saw them do it to Spurs.
Yeah.
You know, and they destroyed Tottenham in that first half against them. You know, second half it was a little bit Spurs came back into it a bit, but they did exactly the same to us tonight, and it was so obvious it was going to happen. And at no point did the team correct it. I just really don't get it. And I know people say, you know, Sanchez has been dreadful since he's been at United. I think most United fans would agree with that. He has been a massive disappointment. Doesn't change the fact there's still a very, very good player in there.
Yeah.
And you're putting a kid who's playing out of position, who's got a striker in front of him. He doesn't really want to play on the right-hand side at all, to be honest. If he has to play on the wing, you'd rather play on the left. And don't get me wrong, Aubameyang did come back and track and everything when he could, but he's not going to help him out all the time. So he's going to get easily isolated and done one-on-one and things like that. And Sanchez is smart enough, regardless of whether he's still as fit as he was or can run as much or any of that sort of stuff, to find that space. I don't know, obviously it ended up going through the middle, but just the complete lack of any intelligence from our midfield tonight of saying, okay, we need to sit and be a little bit more disciplined and just let Ramsey, Iwobi, you know, and the others. And Torreira was so high up. And what is the one thing we always say about Xhaka? I actually thought Xhaka played okay tonight. I know there's loads of people complaining about him, but I thought he was the only one who actually passed the ball decently and actually tried to switch to play quicker. But you can't leave him, you know, with the two centre halves and then 60 yards of space in behind them or wherever, because it's just going to cause problems. And it happened time and time again. So I really don't understand it. I saw some people complaining about Czech, like his goalkeeping. I thought that's harsh. That Sanchez.
I'm sorry. He had no hope there.
Yeah. He stayed up for as long as he could, and then he goes down, and Sanchez just takes around him, and look, it's a good finish. He's still at a very tight angle.
It's a hell of an angle.
You know, it's a smart ball from Lukaku. He sold it to everyone. He sucked in all the players. Sanchez has made a really good run, but just absolutely no cover from the midfield tonight. And it was so easy to get at the two centre backs, who I don't think did that much wrong. Sokratis before he went off, and I don't think Koscielny or Mustafi did a lot wrong either again tonight. No, but the team shape was just dreadful.
Yeah, if you look at it, okay, you look at all three goals, okay, the space Pogba has to run into, on that third goal, okay. But my point I'm trying to make, is Torreira is so far high up because he's being asked to push up.
Yeah, but that's what I don't get. You cannot do that against. Emery must have watched them play against Spurs.
Yeah,
you know, and he knows how he wants, especially Kolasinac. Maitland-Niles isn't going to get forward quite as much, but you know how high Kolasinac is going to get up. So he must have thought Solskjaer's going to do that. And within the first 2-3 minutes of the game, you can see that's exactly what Man United done. They split the strikers. They're not playing on the centre backs. They're playing between centre half and fullback, and that's the space they're going to play in. So you have to, as a manager, you've got to adjust to that.
Absolutely, and I don't think he did. I thought he thought this game would be played on our terms when they've got £1 billion of the players.
Yeah, you know, and Paul Elvis makes a really good point. We know Xhaka's not a DM. He's not. He never has been. He's never been in his career, and he's being asked to do it. And Torreira's the one pushing. Look, I love Torreira's energy and what he gives when you're pressing high up the pitch and against lesser opposition. That's fine. You can do that, but Man United aren't a bad team. They're no mugs. They've got very good players in. And if you don't execute properly, you'll get ripped to pieces. So you have to say to Torreira, okay, well, you've got to come sit deeper. And he didn't do that in the entire game. He was still doing it up towards the end of the game. And that, it wasn't just that goal, but all of them tonight. Just the midfield was just not there.
I got it at the end of the game. We're chasing it. I got that, okay, but I was really.
But don't put yourself in that position in the first place. That's the point.
Exactly. Keep it. Get on top. We had plenty of possession. We had plenty of pressure. We just can't turn into goals.
Yeah.
Ellis. Then was it 2 minutes later, the Lingard goal. And my note on this is fucking dog shit defending.
I'm trying to remember what happened now. It's so soon after as well. When you go 1-0 down already, and you're playing into really Man United's game plan. Then as soon as you've gone 1-0 down, and then to go 2-0 down, and you're just basically there. That means you're just going to continue. And I don't want to echo too much of what John said. To continue people bombing on, trying to get the win, because it just forces your hand more, like it was in the second half when we conceded the third goal. And it was just, I think. The main problem is communication, I think, in this team. And there doesn't seem to be anyone. And again, you can't really ask it to change that much in 9 months or however many months it's been since we've appointed Emery. And the players he's brought in, we've brought in a few players, haven't we? But none of them are really the sort of talkers, get people involved and just take charge of a game. And there was no communication there. There's people sort of stepping out of place. The shape, again, like you were saying, I can't see how we've improved defensively. I can't remember how many clean sheets we've kept this season. It's not many. It should be an easy number to remember. And it's just I can't just remind me of what the Lingard goal was again, because I've lost it completely. What happened?
To be honest, though, my head just dropped after that second goal, and I just thought, you are taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? When you look at our defensive shape, it just falls apart. And we got caught. I mean, John, when you look at that Lingard goal, they're streaming through at us. We haven't got a great amount of pace in our team. Let's be honest. Pace in our team comes at a premium. We just haven't got it. What were your feelings when you saw that?
I don't know. It's just sort of our squad at the moment. We haven't really got any pace in it, to be honest. We've lost. I mean, we had Welbeck, obviously injury there. We've got Iwobi. We've got Aubameyang.
Iwobi's not got gas, though, is he? Aubameyang's got gas. He's the only one I can think of in our team who's got proper gas.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought what United did was use their pacey players and the strength of the players better than we used ours tonight.
They've just got so many of them there. When you look at the players they brought on as well, Martial and Rashford.
Yeah, we were unlucky because of the two injuries we got, so it changed what substitutions we could have. But I agree, you look at our bench and it's not packed full of pace. But you do have a Mesut Ozil on there, obviously we'll come on to. I would say there's a few United fans in the chat who aren't complete arseholes, who are just one of them, Lofar, I think he's just left actually. He said, I thought that as the moment Arsenal got the first injury, they just looked like their heads had dropped a little bit. And I think that's right. We did a little after Sokratis went off, but I just thought United they just got everything right tonight, and we just lost the midfield battle massively. You can't let a player like Paul Pogba have that much time and space to run into. Now, don't get me wrong. If Pogba is at the top of his game and playing his best, he is at times unplayable. But I don't think that wasn't Pogba at his 100% best. I've seen him play way, way better than that. Way better than that. But we just gave him too much space on the ball.
And this is the thing, when we turned the ball over up high, all of a sudden, if you're pushing, because if Emery's pushing Torreira up to win the ball up high, you've got your wing backs up high as well, or your full backs up high as well. Sorry, and that's all it is one pass, and they've got so much pace and so much space to run into. It doesn't have to be the greatest of passes, because the centre backs have got to turn and get on their heels to get back. But all of a sudden, you're just lost. And everybody, I mean, the second goal, I'm sorry, but Torreira was jogging back.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean. I don't. He knows he's not going to make up that pace.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to make it up. So it's a case of what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, Theo in the chat's just saying, basically sort of echoing it. Why is Torreira playing sort of so high up the pitch recently and letting Wonder? Because you remember when he first came into the team, he was picking the ball up off the centre backs. He was winning the ball in fullback positions, covering, coming across, helping out, whether it was Bellerin or Kolasinac on the other side or whatever. And he seems to have stopped doing that, and that's obviously from direction from the manager. And like I said earlier, I think it's fine when you're playing, Brighton or. Well, I'd say Brighton, one of the so-called lesser teams. That's fine when you're pressing higher up and winning the ball higher up because they're more likely to make mistakes. You can't do that against a team like United. It's just not going to work. You
can't do that against most teams, though, John, because you look at it when Coughlin first came back into the team from Charlton, okay? Right? He patrolled that area in front of the back four, right? And because he's got all that space in the pitch to be able to judge where the players come in, where the ball's coming in, he was very, very effective. You've got to give him credit. He cleaned up so much. Torreira is very, very effective in that area. As soon as you push them up, they don't have the time and to be able to see where the ball's coming from, so they can't, and they don't have the ability to get onto it that quickly, because it's a one ball over and you're gone, you're bypassed, So that concertina effect of squeezing the pitch by playing them so far up just costs us long term. And with our defensive record this season, you kind of know, regardless of United being in good form or bad form, they got great players who can punish you. You've got to be, a little bit wary. You've got to have that. That card up your sleeve, haven't you? And we just didn't have that tonight.
So it's things like game intelligence, managing when to put your foot on the ball and just slow the game down a little bit and then speed it up. And like you said earlier, when we did win the ball and turn it over, a lot of the time it was get the ball out to Iwobi or to Kolasinac, were generally one of our three men. We'd get down that left-hand side and then there would be nothing at the end of it. I don't have a problem with a player giving the ball away on the edge of an opponent's box. That's fine. But then that leading to them going to create a chance down at our end is ridiculous. That shouldn't happen. It's
That's because, like you say, the fullbacks are pushing too far forward. You've got a central defensive midfield all pushing far forward. So when you do turn the ball over there, there's just so much space in behind him. It's like you say, it's one thing or the other. You can't have your defensive midfield or DM, whatever you want to call him, pushing up and both your fullbacks. You need one or the other. And it just... That wasn't the case, was it? It's frustrating because I think there was a bit of argument in our chat on WhatsApp about Iwobi not playing. But
we'll come to that later. We'll come to that at the end of the game, mate. I want to talk about Torreira and Iwobi, actually. I want to ask you this, El, okay? There was an incident where Lacazette goes down in the United penalty area. Now, we're claiming a penalty. I can't remember the referee's name, but he waved it away. What did you think of that? Because I kind of missed it, so I don't have an opinion on either way, if you know what I mean. But was he fouled? Was he not fouled? What did you think?
I didn't get a massively look at it. I looked at the replay, and it looks like a bit of just a striker trying to really win a free kick out of nothing. There's minimal contact there, and he's gone down. There isn't really... For me, it's not really a talking point. I don't know if John disagrees, but there's nothing in that for me to go for a penalty. I think it was a bit desperate.
If you don't think it's a penalty, he thinks it's them. Okay? You know, John and penalties.
No, I didn't think it was. I think it was Eric.
He had his hands around him. Yeah, he was trying to claim that Bays wrapped his arms around, but he's barely done it. He's
doing that. Lacazette sort of pulling on his shirt a little bit. They had VAR tonight as well, and they looked back on it. Craig Pawson was the referee.
For me, there was more contact when Lacazette pushed whoever it was into the post later on in the Luke Shaw later on in the game than there was there. There was hardly any contact. It was nothing, minimal for me anyway.
He got a bit lucky there, I think.
I'm not sure how he didn't get a yellow because he put a lot of fouls in during that game. But I like his work ethic. But I was surprised he didn't get a yellow.
I think a lot of them were soft, to be honest. But never mind. Okay, both your thoughts on this then. First you, Ellis, then straight on to John. The Aubameyang goal. It will be the simple early ball to Ramsey. Great ball, work by Ramsey. Puts the cross in the danger zone. There's a bit of a touch on from Lacazette, and Aubameyang finishes. We're back in the game. Thank God.
Yeah, he's the guy that's always there to tap those goals in. You can call him a tapping merchant, call him what you like, but whatever it is, he puts himself in those areas to score goals. And yes, it was a bit scrappy, but for me, that was the first time in that first half that we actually put the ball in that area where if it is scrappy, you've got a chance of it falling to one of your attackers. And so many times we got sort of stuck on that left, and it was a good work by Kolasinac and Iwobi to get down there, create things, but it just seemed to get in, and then the cutback just didn't fall to the right player, or Iwobi would sort of try and fizz it to someone, it was blocked out, or a striker would pick it up and his touch wasn't good enough because the ball's been fizzing to his feet. But to put it in there, and again, good play from Ramsey. For me, I thought was probably the best player on the pitch today. It was work rate. Him and Lacazette worked really well and hard and tried to create the best they can. And it was the first time that half that we put it in there. Again, scrappy, but Aubameyang is that guy that will always pop up and tap the goal in. I think Lacazette was close to putting it in himself, but Aubameyang come up and just tapped it in, and it puts us back in. That's perfect time to score before half-time when you're 2-0 down. Just put a bit of pressure on and go into the half-time with a bit of momentum behind you. And I felt more confident then because I felt after those 2 goals, we did start to come back into it a bit more. And to get that goal was really important to try and push on from it. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but regardless, you still need a goal to make that more of a tie. And like you tried to mention earlier, it was a good FA Cup tie. To get that goal then makes it more of a spectacle for the people at home watching.
Yeah, absolutely. John, I mean, it was a well-worked goal, little bit of luck with the touch from Lacazette to take it on to Aubameyang. But we did the right things, Iwobi with the early ball, because he had a lot at that point, but not much end product. But he just gave it nice and early. Ramsey straight across. After that goes in, you think, we're in this, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, after their second goal went in, we sort of woke up and started to play a bit more. And, Iwobi had already been a threat and was running, but hadn't pulled off the final pass. And Ramsey's movement was probably the best out of a lot of our forward players. And Lacazette is always just closing everything down and all that kind of stuff. But the ball in, nice, simple ball, but still, you got to have some ability to make it. And good bit of skill from Ramsey, and just does the right thing. Just, knows that where his players are going to be, puts it across the box. And I mean, I want to be nice to Aubameyang because the amount of goals he scored this season, and he put it away. But fuck me, he was useless tonight.
Yeah, well,
seriously.
He didn't have the greatest game, did he? He really didn't.
I mean, that's the thing. He still pops up in the right place and gets the goals. But honestly, I thought he was garbage tonight. And hilariously, this will make Mr. Carpenter laugh as it's his birthday. There's a Man United fan here, Lothar. There's a few actually. And he said, "Can we swap Lukaku for Lacazette, please?"
Oh no, you can't. Fuck off.
Yeah, definitely not.
Funny enough, there are a few United fans in there, and they're actually behaving themselves, so it's quite nice to see. Welcome. As long as you behave yourselves, you're welcome to stay. But there you go. Lacazette has a shot straight to the keeper. Then we get a little bit of smart play. Xhaka taking a throw in. Ramsey goes into what would be an offside position, but isn't from a throw in. Gets the ball into the box, and we're just that little bit unlucky it doesn't fall for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, if we get shot on target there, you probably score and the game totally changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the cliche thing of that spell we had, half time annoyingly came at the wrong time of the match for us. I think if there was another 5 minutes before we go to half time, then maybe we get the second goal, because the momentum was really, really with us.
You'd had the starting head just wide as well.
Yeah.
We were well on top at that point.
Yeah. Lee Moody, we definitely do not want Sanchez back. Thank you very much.
I tell you what, I would take Ander Herrera though.
We'll take Herrera. Yeah, you can have Mkhitaryan back.
Yeah. You can take him and bury him with Sanchez. He's awful.
Oh dear.
Oh,
no, it was just frustrating because we just we turned it round. We got the goal. Momentum was up. And United were really struggling with the pressure Lacazette was putting on the defence when they got the ball. Ramsey's movement, he was very, very difficult to pick up. And that, I know we go on about this, and I know certain people will complain, Chris in particular. But as it's your birthday, Chris, I'm going to mention you again. Every time I watch Ramsey now, I just get sad because I think he's just not going to be here next season.
Move on, he's going. Get over it.
I put that message in the WhatsApp group from my mate Rob. When they went 2-0 up, my mate Rob's United fan, and he gives it the Ollie, whatever it is. And, the only thing I can reply with is fuck off. And he says, why are you selling your best player? I said, we're not. We're letting him go for nothing.
Hey, look, if Arsenal do things, they don't do them by halves, all right?
Unbelievable. But that was the first half then. Right. To you people in the chat box. Now, there's some of you who aren't normally there. Hello. Oh, the Walrus and the Hedgehogs just popped in there. Hello. How are you? Carlito, you're full of shit. I'm just saying you're full of shit. You don't know anything about football. Behave yourself. It's half time. It's that time again. It wasn't the best night tonight, was it? It wasn't the best night. But look, don't be like the Arsenal. Put a performance in. Hit that like button. Don't let yourselves down. Let's see if you can push us over the 150 mark. There's 326 of you watching now. Hit that like button. Tappy. Let's get going. Stop being poor like the Arsenal. So, it's just unbelievable that you aren't at 100 yet. It's embarrassing. You've got United fans in there and you're letting the side down. What can how the hell are you supposed to hold your heads up high when you're letting United fans dominate that chat box and dominate the likes button? Start hitting that like button. Tappy. Let's get going. For crying out loud. You're embarrassing yourselves. You're embarrassing your families. You're embarrassing your dead grandparents. You should be ashamed of yourself. Honestly. Tom Hardwick, what are you on about? Don't tap until you tell me, Jason. What are you on about, Tom? I can't see it, mate.
He doesn't tap until you tell him to.
Oh, sorry, Tom. Apologies.
If you didn't know, Jason is from Wales, so sometimes he struggles with English. So, yeah.
I fucking struggle with you monkeys, I tell you that. On to the second half, and straight away from the off, we were at it. And Ramsey, there's a cross comes in, Ramsey near post, puts the header on target. It's a glancing header, and fair play to Romero. It's a great save. He the reaction that Romero makes to save that, you've got to give him a bit of credit.
If Ramsey's ego weren't so big, he'd probably put it the other side of Romero and it'd be a goal. But hey. No, it was good play and it was a good reaction save from Romero. Did he tip it onto the bar? I think he did. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But whatever's a good save. And again, it's the pressure we were talking about that we're applying to United in that second half that we want to go, the first half that we want to go a bit longer. And we came out of the blocks and we continued that pressure, which was good to see. And had that goal gone in or that ball gone into the goal, it would have been a different half and we would have been able to maybe sort of assert ourselves a bit more. It's frustrating. Like I said, it was a slight dig at the ego joke, but if it's gone the other way, I don't think Romero's getting that. If there was any chance of Romero making that save, it's going to be that sort of top left where he can get that reaction save on. If that goes down to his right, I don't think he's getting there. But again, it's a glancing header. It's a difficult thing. I'm not going to criticise Ramsey too much other than the fact that he's leaving to go to Juventus and we shouldn't be sad because he's going. Get over it.
John, again, a bit of a turning point. Then you get Lacazette. He goes into the box. He hits the ball past two players. The two United players, they just stand there, don't they? They don't actually make a movement to block him. He claims a penalty. Paulson's having none of it, is he?
Yeah, those ones are always difficult because... So, when if they're running like full pace and you just can't get out of the way, like you can't give a free kick for that, but they've gone sort of together to block him. But I always think they're a bit soft that you can't really do it because he's knocked the ball past them and he's going to get there first. United defenders got there first anyway. I don't think that's a penalty. It's one of the really, really awkward ones to give. Again, we had VAR tonight, so if the referee had got it horribly wrong, then whoever it is, I don't know who the VAR person was.
Full kit wankers that sit in the box.
Yeah, the full kit wankers that sit in their little video box out there somewhere would have contacted him. So, no, I don't think that was anything to shout about. As a striker, I've got no problem with like appealing for it. That's what you want our players to do.
I've got to be honest with you, my one-eyed nature says it's a penalty every day of the week.
Oh, of course it does.
You know, well, only using one, but nah. You're hoping there. You really are hoping. We have a great counter-attack then. Aubameyang to Lacazette. Now, Lacazette's on kind of the edge of the area. You've got Iwobi steaming through. Ramsey on the other side of him on the edge of the box in space. And it kind of ends up going to nobody. Iwobi doesn't pick it up on the run through, and the United defender comes along and clears up. That kind of summed our night up, didn't it? You know, plenty of good possession, plenty of pressure on United, but United just dealt with it because we were not clinical enough, were we?
No, definitely not. When we got into that final third, the balls weren't quite good. There was flick-ons that didn't come off. There were dummies that just ended up going to no one. There was sort of driven passes straight at a United player or straight into the attacker's feet where they just sort of bobbed it off. And that was just the case tonight. And again, it's frustrating. And I think it could have gone either way if we were a bit more clinical there. If the passes were a bit more sharper or a bit more incisive, then you're getting players into really good positions to score. And that was just the difference in the two teams tonight. When United won the ball and tried to attack, they were clinical. They got the balls into space. Again, we gave them a lot more space to do that, but still they were clinical with the ball. And again, we're 2-1 down, and they're just going to sit there and defend, and they're going to block those spaces off. And you need to be more clinical with the ball if you're going to break down a defence like that. And we just weren't. And the game looked like it was crying out for someone to come in and try and do that. And I guess we'll come and talk about that particular person a bit later.
We will. We're not far away from that, funny enough. But again, John, I think, you know, if you look at that particular instance, you know, as a sort of microcosm of the game, okay, you know, you've got Aubameyang and Lacazette who've been sort of switched positions over the season, okay? You've got Ramsey, who's hardly played this season. You've got Iwobi, who's in and out of the team. Where's their opportunity to get an understanding? And I think that's the main point here, where, you know, you need this team to gel. You can't expect them to chop and change week in, week out, can you?
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that although the Chelsea result last week was obviously a big boost and we really needed it, it kind of hid the fact that we were on a bad run of form and we haven't been playing particularly well. And we probably got Chelsea at the right time. You know, because they were on a bit of a downslope. So it covered that fact a little bit. I think that the obvious thing from this game is that one team took their chances and was much more clinical. That's the big difference here. You know, you look at United. Sanchez took his goal really well. Lingard was very calm, took his shot perfectly. You know, they got the third goal. Obviously, we'll talk about, but they were all clinical, hit the target, did their job. Whereas tonight, other than the Romero save from the Ramsey header, did we really force him into like a real effort of a save or anything? I don't think so. Like a difficult one anyway.
I don't think we did. I really don't think we did, and that's why I'm disappointed. You know, I thought as much as I enjoyed last week's performance, I think it's been massively overhyped.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Massively overhyped.
In terms of what it does for us in the league, it's very good. But I think in performance-wise, it was over exaggerated.
We spoke about this show before last, and as we said, you not only got to beat Chelsea, you got to back it up against United. Yeah. And tonight is really disappointing. And you know, they took the chances. You can't mourn.
We did, though. You've got to say we gave them more space to create those chances. If you think the chances we had, there's a lot of defenders between us and finding those spaces compared to us. We're just bombing forward and leaving all that gaps there. The reason they had those clinical better chances is because they've got the space to work with it, and we didn't. And if anything, hopefully this is something Emery can learn from when we play them later in the league, to learn to not bomb on both your forwards with them when they're counter-attacking, because they'll fuck you over.
Absolutely. I'm going to stick with you on this. Then we get a coming together challenging for a header of Koscielny and Lukaku. And, it's just accidental. Lukaku's backing in, Koscielny falls over and he catches him as he's stumbling back with his boot. It wasn't good, was it? It's a suspected broken jaw. That we've been saying.
All right, yeah. You can't blame Lukaku. Like anyone will tell you, especially Chris, that his first touch is quite bad and he's probably not in control most of the time of his feet. So you can't really blame him. It wasn't malicious or anything. He was just clumsy. That's the way he landed. Unfortunately, that meant he got a boot to the jaw, or he booted Koscielny's jaw. Obviously, if you're John, you probably think you run that off and it's fine. But I'm sure John will be saying a bit on it. But yeah, it's just unlucky. And again, it's another defender. We've only got 2 fit defenders, or 2 fit centre backs, sorry, I should say, if you don't count Monreal as potentially going there. And before the game, or today's game, there was a lot of talk on Twitter about Mustafi probably filling in, or maybe potentially filling in at right back because he's done it before for Germany. But now we don't even have that luxury to even try that because he's one of our only 2 fit centre backs because someone's just got kicked in the jaw. But I don't think it'll put him out of the team for a while. He'll just get that fixed and have a little mask on for a little while, and hopefully be able to play and be back in the team as soon as he can. But
they'll have to wait for the scans, obviously, won't they? But the bruise came up really, really quickly. You could see he was in real pain there. It's just shit luck.
Can I just say 2 things very quickly? Sorry. Mustafi played at right back for a Germany team that was the best in the world, and he never had to fucking defend. There's a difference between playing at right back and actually playing at right back. He never had to defend once when he played there. So the idea that he could ever play right back is fucking hilarious to me. The geezer can barely play centre back at half the time. As for the Koscielny thing, yes, chat box and anyone listening, I did say at the time, stop being such a fanny, get up and get on with it. If he's broken his jaw, fair enough. But if he hasn't broken his jaw and it's just a bruise, it's a little cut on your face, mate. Get on with it. Fuck's sake. Honestly.
But this is where Lukaku comes flying through into John's room and kicks him in the jaw. And
Lukaku comes step on my jaw. If it don't break, I'll get up and play another 40 minutes of football, however long it is. I tell you what, for the money that Koscielny gets paid, I will play the rest of the game with a broken jaw. Couldn't give a fuck.
Do you read the war?
You read the war?
Oh, it's true. Come on.
John's going to go for a whole podcast with a broken jaw just to prove that you can continue.
I can't do that because I actually say something when I'm on the pitch. Koscielny don't say anything. Yeah.
Look, it was painful though. You could see the way the bruise came up. It was just a freak accident, and it's just sod's law. But then
I hope he hasn't broken his jaw. All jokes aside.
Oh, we all hope that.
You hope that just so you say he's a pussy and then be like, come on, get on with it.
There's someone else in the Arsenal squad. I wish he did have a broken jaw, but there we go. Oh, go on, Jace, get on with it. I'm in such a bad mood now.
I know you've been in a bad mood all night. It's been brilliant. Yeah. So then, John, Emery makes substitutions. So he's bringing Ozil on anyway. Cos comes off.
Yep.
Yeah. Cos comes off. And Guendouzi comes on, so forcing Xhaka into centre half.
Oh.
Okay, and then you've got Ozil come on for Iwobi, and Iwobi's got a mixed bag of responses in here, but he did carry the ball forward. I thought he should have made some earlier balls and what have you, but when you look at what the contribution in Iwobi compared to Ozil from there on in. There's absolutely no effing comparison, is there?
I didn't understand the substitutions at all. So we've got Olivia here in the chat who's a Man United fan. Emery, man of the match. She's probably saying that because of those substitutions. Ozil did nothing when he came on. And why are you playing Xhaka at centre-back again? Stop it. He's not a centre-half. It's so annoying. You're playing against a team that's already in the lead and they're just going to counter on you all day long for the rest of the game. Why would you play one of your slowest players at centre half when you're already pushing your fullbacks on? It makes no sense. Right, we haven't got centre back on the bench. Fine. Nacho Monreal has played centre half. Bring him on instead, please. I also didn't understand why you're taking Iwobi off. Thought he's one of our few players who was actually performing really well. If anything, I didn't want to take Ramsey off. I would have waited a little, like another 10 minutes, just made the Cos substitution. and waited to see because Ramsey started to look a bit leggy towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
And maybe he would have been sensible to come off, or maybe Aubameyang. I know Aubameyang scored the goal, but let's be honest, he did fuck all else in the game. It made no sense. I'm so bored of seeing Xhaka at centre back, and then people giving him shit for making bad decisions when he's playing out of position. I'm sorry, I'm a midfielder. You want me to play centre half, and I don't know exactly where to play the offside line, or that I'm supposed to press the player there, or go for this header and when to drop 5 yards. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe, if the geezer who stood next to me, who is actually a centre-back, apparently an international World Cup winning one, allegedly, told me what to do and actually said something, it might help. Honest, it's such bollocks. I'm so fed up with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what annoys John Welsh. He's on it. I love this.
This is the first time I've been, because all last season, we were shit all season, let's be honest. We were fucking dreadful. And I didn't moan like this once, because I just given up. And this is the first time it's happened. I've so had enough of Xhaka being at centre-back. It's so annoying. And people giving him shit constantly. He's one of the only blokes in the team who could fucking pass the ball. No one says anything about little Lucas Torreira. Oh,
I got to
change the subject.
Broken John.
Guys, we're going to talk about Torreira later again now, because I got to be honest.
And you're still saying his name wrong on purpose just to wind that bloke up, and it's starting to wind me up now.
I don't care. I'm going to call him Torreira till the end of time. If that guy hadn't opened his gob, I'd have gone to Torreira, but fuck him.
Oh, as for Ozil, what a fucking... what was the point?
So the next note, El, is we have to turn pressure into goals. We didn't do that. We have a Lacazette shot saved by Romero. Pressure, but no decent balls in the box, no shots on target. It was getting really frustrating, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I really want to try and make it positive and follow up John's negativity, but I can't. It's physically impossible. Yeah, it's a lot of. We've had a lot of possession, but it's not good possession. We're creating chances, and it just falls straight into United's game plan. They can just counter us, and when we're pushing so men forward, we're going to leave gaps. And I said, I put it in our chat box as soon as Xhaka went into centre back. And again, it's no picking at Xhaka. It's the fact that he's going centre back. We know he can't play there. I'm not going to say it anymore because John's already highlighted it perfectly well. And I was just like, this is going to end badly, innit? We're attacking wise, we still thought we potentially could score or do something, but you just knew that at some point they were going to pick the ball up and counter us and attack us, and that was just the case. We put on the pressure, we had chances, but we just couldn't really make them into concrete chances. It was just the ball just getting turned over and then they're running at us, and you're going to struggle when you've got whatever Ainsley Maitland-Niles is. I don't know what position he's meant to play at right back. You've got a centre mid who's not particularly fast at centre back, and you've got Mustafi who don't know what he is either at centre back, and then Kolasinac who's only a left wing back, not really a left back.
Well, the funny thing about Mustafi is his stats are better than Sokratis'. That's the funny thing about it.
It's not funny.
He wins more challenges.
Salomon Kalou's got a Champions League medal.
No, these are
fucking amazing. Great. Let's just throw shit out all over the place.
His in-game stats are far better than Sokratis', so there's a bit of a problem there.
Ryan Bertrand's got a Champions League medal. It don't make him the best left back in the world, does it?
None of our fucking squad have got a Champions League medal, have they? Let's be honest.
Mesut Ozil's stats say he runs around more than what John thinks.
Oh, actually, Petr Cech's got one.
Yes, good point. Good point. But he's leaving.
He's Ellis, John, I want to cheer you up a bit more. Talk to me about the Martial goal. Lacazette turns the ball over, and Pogba just goes walkies.
Wait there, John. Before that happened,
I was actually about to say that. I'd love
to have a team of Lacazettes, and he joined that one up as well, just to inform everyone who is watching.
Just written in our WhatsApp group, I'd love to have a team full of Lacazettes because all game he worked so hard. He was making challenges. Genius wouldn't shut up about him. It's the only time I've ever heard him say anything nice about an Arsenal player in commentary, and then he gives the ball away. It's just... so I proper Jona'd it, but it doesn't change the fact that Pogba then just goes, I'll just walk 40 yards. No one's going to tackle me. No one's going to tackle me. No one's going to tackle me. Oh, all right. I'll just have a shot then.
There was no one there to tackle him. They were all still at the other end of the pitch.
No one closes him down. What was the centre-back pairing at that time? Mustafi and Xhaka So no one really goes to him. Don't know, Xhaka doesn't know whether he's supposed to go or not. Mustafi just stands there and goes, "Oh, look, football." Just looks at it. Lets Pogba have a shot. It bounces awkwardly in front of Czech. Yes, he could do a little bit better with palming it away, but he still makes the save. And then Martial just walks in completely unmarked. Goes, "Oh, look, the Arsenal team are completely sleeping. Thanks. I'll just smash this in the back of the net." It was honestly, again, that goal, whilst it wasn't, like good build up or a nice pass or anything like that, like the other two were, that was more one team wanted it and actually made all the passes correctly and didn't make any stupid errors against a team who just didn't want it tonight. I don't think they wanted it.
To be fair, there was nobody challenging them for them to make the right decision.
Yeah, well, that's the difference. Whereas I think that, you look at United, although we did create some chances and obviously we did score, I thought they were actually forcing us, into errors, into, making tackles and things like that. I don't think, Luke Shaw's the greatest left back in the world, and I certainly don't think Ashley Young's the greatest right back in the world, but they did actually make tackles. Matic was making some really good tackles in midfield tonight, and we just didn't do that all game. And that third goal just, yeah, we're going to press and we're going to push up the pitch and everything, but it was still so just organised wise, the team shape and everything was just all over the place. Really, really bad.
Jason,
Yeah.
I think you should give away an ABW live shirt to anyone that can manage to cheer John up tonight before the end of the pod.
Are there any ladies in the chat box? No, I'm joking.
Oh God, Ben! No. Corey Austin's in the chat box though, and Corey's had his shirt. Epic, Corey. Glad you've had it, mate. Hope you like it. Then we have the Lingard melee at the end of the thing. Well, it was Rashford and Kolasinac.
Yeah.
There's a hand. Kolasic's hands in the air. It kind of grazed Rashford. He said something. Those two went at it, and then Lingard comes steaming in because he's a steaming pile of shit of a human being. And it was a load of nonsense, wasn't it? It was the biggest load of handbags I've ever seen. Xhaka pushed him off the park, but nothing was ever going to happen.
Nothing in it. Oh, hello, Kelly's in the chat. Hello, Kelly.
Kelly gets a shirt. She cheered him up.
No, there's nothing in it. They both put their heads in. Lingard comes in, as I would expect any teammate to do, to come and protect their teammate. Then it all gets a bit shirty. Some idiot in the crowd, it looks like he threw something at him. So then he barks.
Why do that?
Then he barks back at the guy in the crowd, which I've got no problem with. If that was me, I would have done the same thing. It was nice to actually see a bit of fight in it. They were joking about it on the commentary, how there was like no yellow cards and they were picking each other up on the floor and giving hugs and stuff. It's not exactly the United Arsenal games I remember in the 90s, the Wenger Ferguson sort of era games, but yeah, nothing in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it for the game. I'm sick and tired of it. Ellis, Iwobi. Let's talk about Iwobi. Mm-hmm. Drives forward with the ball a lot. Doesn't seem to give that early ball or that killer ball into the box. End product's a bit of an issue with him, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's really good at finding those balls a bit further on the pitch. It just seems the further he gets and the more he sort of seems to run down that left, he gets into a point where he just can't put the ball in. And he's got this habit of trying to drive a pass at someone, but the pass just isn't really on, or constantly, again, like Kolasinac, trying to cut it back when he just try and vary it up a bit, maybe put a ball in the air to the back post, but he just never seems to do it. And he's also like, I don't want to be mean to him, but he's got this horrible habit of whenever he takes a shoot of just falling backwards and just skying it. He didn't really shoot much today. I think he had one shot, but it's frustrating because he's really good on the ball and he dribbles really well and he can get himself into those positions and he's great at doing that. And the goal that we got was down to him and some of the passes that he made in that sort of build up. So he can do it. It's just he also does have this ability just to sort of run down a blind alley and not make anything of it. And I'd criticise Kolasinac the same because their link-up play is quite good. They're always helping each other out, getting down that left-hand side. But time and time again, nothing comes from it. It's not varied enough. It's just looking for a cutback, or you get there and you get to that point and you're like, what do I do? I'll pass it back to Kolasinac, or Kolasinac gets to that point, I'll pass it back to Iwobi. And it's frustrating because I feel deep down that Iwobi, there is a player there and a really good player. There just hasn't been something that's quite clicked yet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Well, he's got a great pair of feet. Lana, our friend Lana's in the box. Hiya, Lana. Glad to see you're okay.
See, look, I asked for women and they appear, Jace. This is magic.
It's from that party you went to last week.
Let's not go down there.
She says, join Ramsey at UV, guys. Lana, we're going to be starting a Del Piero Wonderland. Myself, John and Dom. Just us, because we're fanboys, and that's the way it is. But yeah, I mean, John, you really liked Iwobi's performance tonight. I'm a bit frustrated by it because you can see all the hard work and you can see all the effort. And he played his guts out tonight, to be fair to Alex Iwobi. He didn't leave anything on the park, but it's just that side of it where, is it a fact he's being asked to do certain things and that's maybe inhibiting his game? Or do you think it's just an experience thing with him?
No, I think it's just experience. I mean, he's definitely improved from last season, and you can see Emery clearly trusts him a lot. That's why he plays him so much. He's one of our few players who he gets the ball when I'm confident that he's going to carry it 30, 40 yards up the pitch. I'm not nervous when he's in possession. You can see how physically strong he is as well. Do you remember when we used to, from like goal kicks, we'd try and hit Sanya because he was our one player who could head the ball? Because we couldn't head it. They're quite happy to. It's true though, wasn't it? It was we'd have to hit Sanya. And we're quite happy to hit it long to Iwobi, and he wins it, brings it down on his chest, or wins the header and battles for it and stuff. So, yeah, I thought he was good tonight. Again, yes, he still needs to improve on his final product. Absolutely. If you go and watch all the goals we scored this season, though, when he's been playing, and see how much involvement he has in all of those goals, is a hell of a lot more than people realise or give him credit for. In terms of either he's carrying the ball or he's the pass before the assist or he makes the movement that opens up the space and all these kind of things. And some of the things he can do with the ball is really, really impressive. But he does definitely need to improve on those things. But that is just experience, coaching. You look at the one thing he really needs to do though is the goals. That's the thing he's got to start doing. He's got to start getting goals, because it's the one thing he's really missing from his game.
Yeah, it really is. Guys, to both of you, Torreira, I heard a load of shit earlier on in the season that he's the best DM in the Premier League, okay? And I kind of just get sick of it. I think he's been great for us this season. He really has, okay? He's been very, very good for us. But in recent weeks, he's dropped off the face of a cliff, hasn't he? And tonight, he still puts the effort in. He's still doing his best. But is this down to Emery asking him to play a slightly different role? Or is it down to maybe the Premier League catching up with him after his move from Italy? I'll start with you, Ellis.
I think it's probably Emery potentially adjusting his role and asking to play further forward. I think a lot of people got excited by Torreira. I can say Torreira then. Torreira, because he is something that we've sorely missed. Chris would have you believe that it was Coquelin, but for me, we haven't had a player like that for a while. And I think the change is, and we saw it with Coquelin. You mentioned it earlier on the show. When Coquelin first came to the team, what he was doing, he was winning the balls deep, picking the ball off the defenders, giving it to Cazorla and letting him do the rest of his feet. And then Cazorla got injured and they pushed Coquelin a bit further forward and he couldn't do it. And it's the same with Torreira. He's not that player that can play it far forward. He should be sat there protecting the defence, picking the ball up, giving to Xhaka, who has got the passing range in his locker, which Torreira hasn't. But Torreira has what Xhaka doesn't have, and the energy and the dynamism and the ability to get in set balls and win tackles and potentially win headers that he shouldn't be winning because he's only 5'5". But today and recently, he's been asked to do something more than he should and he's capable of. And you see it again. If you look at Chelsea, Kante's been asked to do the same thing and he can't do it. It's trying to get players to do things that they shouldn't do. And I think, if anything, this game highlights that he should just be in that position in front of the back four or back three or back five or whatever it is, picking up the ball, win the scraps, and then pass it on to someone who has got the passing range or the ability to drive through midfield or the ability to create something and find the forwards. But he just doesn't have that. And it's not a criticism on him. That's just a weakness that we all know he has. And we should be playing to, if we can, to everyone's strengths. And today we didn't play to his strengths, and we haven't done for a couple of games.
I absolutely agree with that. And John, we keep on saying it's the manager's job. By the way, I would like to point out, even at 5'5", Lucas Torreira is still taller than Chris Carpenter. Happy birthday, Chris! Love you, bro. John, we spoke about a lot this season where it's the manager's job to get the best out of the players.
Yeah, it is. Torreira has been used primarily as a DM type, if you want to use that word, but at the base of a diamond at Samp. So when he came in and he was doing that kind of role, it made sense to leave him there. He's got the energy to do the pressing higher up the pitch, and I think in the games where it's worked this season, it's looked very impressive. But yeah, in games like tonight, I don't think you can do that. You can't leave Xhaka as the deepest and expect him to do the defensive work that Torreira would do. So I think that was a tactical mistake tonight. I also think the fact that Emery left it as, 2 against, it was almost 2 against 4 at times because Lingard was dropping in as well when they were playing, as a diamond. So I don't know. I just want to see Torreira playing back where he was when he first came into the team. I do think there is a little bit of adjusting to the Premier League as well. Yeah. The winter break in Italy is only a week, but you don't have games as regularly as we do here. Like they don't have as many cup competitions. The intensity that our league is played at compared to Italy is very different, and that will catch up to a player, especially a young player. He's still very young and he's nowhere near at his best years yet. So that might be catching up to him as well. So yeah, I think he's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay, let's stick with you for this one, and then we'll go back to Ellis on it because Mesut Ozil, his first time in an Arsenal shirt for more than a few weeks. A lot of talk and hypothesizing about what's happening with him, and there wasn't really much on the pitch tonight, was there?
As long as Emery is the manager, Ozil's done at Arsenal. It's that simple. He's done. He's hardly ever going to play. And when he comes on, I don't think he even wants to play for the manager anymore. I think he's gone beyond the point of I'm going to go out on the pitch and embarrass you, because he could do that, and he's got the ability to. Who was it? What was the game under Wenger? Was it Liverpool away? And I think Wenger did it with like Sanchez and Ozil, like benched the pair of them or something, and then they came on and like saved the game. It might have been, or whenever it was. We know that Ozil is good enough to go out and make an impact on a game, and he was finding space but doing nothing with the ball. And it's not like there wasn't movement out there. He could have done more with it, and he just didn't. I don't know what else you can do with him, honestly. I genuinely think he's done whilst Emery's there as the manager, though. And look, he's clearly popular in the squad. All the other players like him, everything else. Stefan makes a great point. Doesn't look like he wants to play football anymore. He didn't look that interested when he came on. I know it's hard to judge because he has got that kind of...
He never looked interested.
He never looked particularly interested. But you've seen him in games where he's come on before and he's been quicker to the ball and like making challenges. I know that's not his game, but he still does it and just turning quicker and everything else. And I didn't see any of that tonight when he came on.
The flip side of that, but he hasn't been played for the last few weeks. So, is rustiness part of that? Because, we will say about other players like Ramsey.
Rustiness has got nothing to do with effort, though. If he's misplacing a pass or putting it like a yard or two too far forward or too far back, or that kind of thing, you can go, yeah, all right, I get it. It makes sense because you've been out of the game for a while. But it's just... No, I think he's now very much done. He's kind of a dead weight at Arsenal that we just need to ship on. It's sad because he was a great player.
350k worth of dead weight.
Yeah.
Making a living. Tom Hardwick said, maybe we should get Flamini back, put him on the bench to make Mesut happy. Brilliant. Ellis, your thoughts? I got a question for both of you afterwards on that then. What were your thoughts on Mesut tonight?
I found, quite frankly, not being harsh, the Mesut Ozil thing just a bit boring now. I'm bored of it. At least now we have a bit of game time to actually analyse, because a lot of it is hearsay. A lot of it's people saying he's not really injured. He is really injured. He should be playing. He shouldn't be playing. Blah blah blah. The fact of the matter is, Emery clearly doesn't fancy him. If he was going to play him, then today would have been the perfect moment to start him, and he didn't. He put him on the bench, and he brought him on. He didn't really do much. There's not really much to analyse from that performance. I partly agree with John and the other people in the chat box. It looks like he doesn't want to play for the club anymore, but why would he? It clearly looks like Emery's trying to force him out of the club. And let's be honest, Mesut Ozil doesn't look like the most resilient of people, like mentally, for me anyway, from everything that's happened to him in his career and the way he is. So why would he's gone? He's got to be gone, and it's just a point. And I said it about Ramsey. The only difference between him and Ramsey is Ramsey's actually still playing well and making us want to wish that he's not going, whereas Ozil, he's just not getting game time at all. And the first bit of minutes that he's had tonight, he hasn't really done much with it, but you don't really expect him to. Again, you make the point that rustiness doesn't affect the effort, but he's not been in this team with his players, has he? He hasn't really played this much this season, so how is he going to build any sort of like connection with the players like Lacazette? And I know he's played with Lacazette for over a season before, but with Aubameyang and the new style of way of playing. And I just don't think that Mesut Ozil, as a player, whether you like him or not, fits the system that Emery wants to play. He's just not that type of player. And frankly, he either needs to go, or Emery needs to go, and a manager who wants to use him needs to come in. It's one or the other. This is the question I want to ask both of you. You talk about style of play. Emery's changed the style of play so many times over the season. I don't buy that as a reason for anything. I think that's bullshit. Okay, utter nonsense. If the manager's going to say that, I think that's utter nonsense. Okay, because he keeps on chopping and changing formation, etc. And some of it, yes, is enforced by injury, no doubt. But if you haven't got a set style of plan A and then plan B and C, then you haven't really got a style of play, have you? And he keeps on chopping and changing. But the big question is, who will go first, Emery or Ozil? Ozil for me. I don't think Emery's not going to go. He's not been in the club long enough. Right. Okay. Okay. Ozil for you, John.
This is really tough. I'd say Ozil. Emery only goes if we somehow completely shit the bed and don't even get Europa League next season.
Boys, Emery goes before Ozil. Okay,
you reckon?
I mean, I said it after the podcast, after the live show last week. I think Emery will be out in the summer.
You really think?
David Guna. Sorry, David Guna won with the donation, $9.99. Just to wind up Danny. Love it.
Thank you, David. That's superb, you mate. Thank you ever so much, David. David Guna won is straight in there. We really appreciate it. To the rest of you, I've only got 103 likes. What the hell is happening? What the hell is happening? 103 likes. You're embarrassing yourselves. You're embarrassing the club. You're embarrassing your families. Tappy. Let's get going. Richard Garrett, Rich, I don't want him out. It's not me giving him a chance or not giving him a chance. It's just what I think is going to happen. Okay,
so Jason, what do you think is going to happen for Emery to be gone this summer? Then
I look at this season and I like you. I like Unai Emery. I do like him. Okay, but what I don't see him having done is bring in a structure for us to play within. Okay. Yes, he's had injuries, and you look at tonight. The poor bugger can't get any unluckier. Sokratis going down, then Koscielny. He must be stood there on the sidelines thinking, "What the hell is going on?" And I feel for him in that respect. But I do think as well, if you look at sort of the Ramsey and Ozil situations, he's not trying to get the best out of them. Okay, and if you're not getting the best out of players who've delivered for you in the past, then how do you expect to get the best out of young and up and coming players? You know, you see dips in form in you see a roller coaster form from Iwobi. Our defending hasn't improved. You look at the Torreira situation. I don't see a set structure of play coming in, and I think unless he can get that very quickly, I can't see us winning the Europa League. I don't see us getting top 4, and you know, a couple of games, you know, you lose a couple of games, you got injuries. I think it's a snowball, you know, it's the domino effect. And I've just got a bad feeling about it. I don't want him to go. Let me be clear. It's not a Unai out thing, not at all. I just think you've got the pressure on the pitch coming at you. Then you got pressure with the changing room. And then you got the pressure of having to perform in the league and other competitions. I think it may get a bit too much.
I don't agree that he hasn't improved players, because I think Ramsey has got better. I think Ramsey's played better and better as the season's gone on. I think Bellerin has played better. I think Iwobi's played.
Ramsey's only started 2 games in 3 months, so you can't say he's improved. He's always given us performances like this. Iwobi has shown glimpses.
I think he's been better. I think Bellerin's been better this season. I think Lacazette's been better. I think there's been a lot of improved players this season.
It's Lacazette's second season. He was always going to improve, isn't he? Look, it's just an opinion.
There's only one player that's gone backwards.
Who's that?
He's on 350 grand a week. I don't know. Take a guess. Well, it is. It's the only one.
Is it only one? Would you say Mustafi?
No, I think Mustafi's always been awful.
So you can't get any worse. Okay, all right, fair enough.
You can't get lower than the bottom.
It's one of those. It's a game of opinions, and you know, it's one of those things where I just look at it. You've got the business. I hate to mention Ramsey again, but he doesn't fit my style of play.
And don't hate to mention him. Don't lie.
No, he was the best player on the pitch for us tonight, and he did a hell of a job against Chelsea. So there's things that aren't stacking up for me, and I just don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I think you're wrong. I can't see Arsenal doing it. Like, as a club, I cannot see them sacking Unai Emery unless something horrible happens by the end of the season.
We're a different club now. We're a very different club now. Okay, we are not good old Arsenal anymore. Right? So I don't know what to expect. You look at Sanye, he's coming from Barcelona. Okay, they could give a monkeys about getting rid of a manager.
Emery's not even had like a full window though to get players in that fit his system. That's probably why he hasn't got a system yet.
Do you think they give them the full window and other things?
I think they will. I think they've got to. I think any sane football managing club will give someone at least a couple of windows to make it right, unless you're the likes of Chelsea, who can just go, yeah, fuck off, we'll get another rich manager in and do it. We're not that club. We can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to have the money to sack him and get another manager.
Exactly.
So if you haven't got the money to get rid of Emery, we certainly haven't got the money to get rid of Ozil, and that's part of it. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling on this, and I hope I'm wrong. Okay, I hope he succeeds, and I hope we do well. But I just look at it at the moment, and I don't have much faith. So we're going to go into questions anyway. First question for you. I'm going to go to you, John, on this first, actually. Okay. Guitar D3 Monet or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce the name, mate. There's just too much going on there. But he asks, early question, because that was the beginning of the show. Can you guys explain to me what the plan is?
It's
the perfect question after what I've just said. It really is.
I mean,
how to say no really long.
Yeah. How do you carpenter the shit out of saying no? I don't know. No, I mean, I think that it's obvious that he wants the fullbacks to get high. That's where you get your width. Get to the byline, pull the ball back. All our best players been from that this season, and then a late runner into the box who would be an Aaron Ramsey type. Other than that, yeah, I know. Oh, we need to get a midfielder who's a bit like Aaron Ramsey. it's weird. That's all I can see him trying to do. But again, that is not it's not consistent. He's not consistently doing that. But I do think a lot of it has been down to injuries, because I think the reason he's been playing free at the back, which I hate, I can't stand it because the way he plays free at the back is really boring. I think the reason he's done it is because he doesn't trust any of those defenders.
Well, he's one coaching them. So,
Well,
yeah, I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. Ellis, same guy, and I'm not going to try to mention his name again. I apologise, fella. He asks, are we too reliant on Bet Hector?
But Hector, no, I think a lot of our play, and again, John alluded to it earlier in the pod, a lot of our play comes down the left with Iwobi and Kolasinac. Like, they are involved in a lot of our goals this season, so I don't think we're too reliant on Bellerin. I just think it's nice to have another option on the other side other than just constantly trying to get down the left. And again, if you have Bellerin there today instead of Maitland-Niles and not Aubameyang in front of him, then you're probably going to see a bit more sort of attacking coming from the right, because Aubameyang is not a right winger. And again, like John said, if he's going to play anywhere, he'll play on the left wing. If he's not going to play up front, and he's not interested in that right wing. And Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not a right back. So I wouldn't say we're too reliant on Hector Bellerin. We're just probably, like any team, with a good bit of balance. It's nice to have your first choice right back than it is not to have him.
say it quietly. We do have a right back, Carl Jenkinson. We have got one.
We do.
No, I got Mustafi.
Oh God.
Hey, John's got a chip on his shoulder about Mustafi. Okay, leave it go.
Let's pick between Mustafi or Lichtsteiner at right back. Oh,
Carl Jenkinson.
I'd give Jenko a shot, because, as Dave said in the pod this week, when he's going to run the games behind him, his level of performance, jumps up, and he'll perform quite well. So
you know what else is really good about him as well? He's actually a right back.
And do you know what? No, but if you look at him, he's a hell of an athlete. He'll get up and down that flank all day, okay? And actually, his crossing isn't that bad. His crossing's probably better than Hector's. So he whips in the ball early. He gives the strikers a chance to get in the end of it. So, I don't know. John, K-Man 1867 asks, is Torreira, I like that. I like what he's done there. Really our CDM answer. Starting to question that the purchase, he's our slowest, smallest player on our team.
I wouldn't say he's our slowest. I would say Xhaka's got to be our slowest, probably besides probably Petr Cech or someone like that. I don't think size matters when you're playing that position. Some of the best players in that position aren't the biggest in the world. Sort of the one who made it famous, like Makalele, is probably smaller than Torreira, albeit a much better, more accomplished player, although Torreira's still got a long career ahead of him. So, we'll see what happens. But no, I think it's just more the fact he needs to be playing that role more often. And against certain opposition, it doesn't matter how good you are of a player. You sometimes need some help in midfield. So I think there's some games where we need to play free in the middle, and you sort of have to. I know you want to impose yourself on the opposition and play your game plan, but sometimes you have to go. You know what? They're good enough that we have to make a few concessions and change our system up a little bit. So no, I think he's a fine solution for in there, and I hope that we've got some youngsters from the academy coming through as well. Would I like another option in there who can come in if he's out injured or whatever else, or suspended? Yeah, of course I would. But I don't think we have anyone else in the squad currently who can necessarily do that role.
Okay, good answer. Schwinn, AFC Schwinn. Hiya, pal. How you doing? Hope you're well. He asks, I'm going to answer this one actually. Can we criticise Emery finally? Schwinn, to be fair, mate, he's had a bit from us already this season. I think it's more than fine to criticise him. I think the criticism has to be fair. I really do. I think, there's certain things that have happened where, he's screwing the pooch. And there's certain things that are happening where, he's the victim of circumstance. So we've got to be even-handed. Like what I said earlier on, I think he'll go in the summer. I hope I'm wrong. It's just an opinion. It's not he deserves to go or he doesn't deserve to go. It's nothing to do with that. It's just an opinion I see in the situation. But I know myself and John have given him quite a bit of stick this season, haven't we, John?
It's
And
like a little.
deservedly so.
It's very small, very little bit.
Deservedly so, though. Yeah, I think it's fine to criticise him. It's football. This is what the game is.
Yeah.
Ellis. Payush Kapoor asks, and Payush is always in the chat box. We love Payush. Why in big games is it always our players who get injured? When our player goes down, the team gets demoralised, unsettled. These are professionals. Shouldn't they just focus on the game?
I don't know.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
How am I know the answer to that question? I don't know. Luck. They should be more professional. It does seem that, especially in the sort of the Wenger era, when a player would get injured, that would just completely derail that game. And we've seen it before. We've seen players have broken legs, and the game just go to pot, or the season go to pot. We've seen plenty of games. I don't think it's just the big games. Eduardo wasn't a big game. It was, in terms of our season, yes, but in terms of like who we're playing, it wasn't a big team, and it just sort of derailed that game. And it still seems to do it now. But I'd say it's probably purely the fact that if your first team starters are getting injured and the people on the bench aren't any better than the people who are normally the starters, then of course the quality is going to drop, and you're more likely to lose a game. And I think it's just the case of that. We see it more because it's our team. We focus more on us, but other teams have injuries that hinder their chance of winning games. We just don't focus on it because it's not our team.
That's fair comment, mate. Aryan Hadari straight in there with a donation, and he says, John Welsh built this club with his bare hands, in my opinion. It's not just your opinion, Aryan. It's popular opinion. John Welsh is the masterclass. He is the man. He's the man who built the club. Oh, we got that Chelsea fan back again by the looks of things. He really is a sad bastard, isn't he?
I think he's got like 20 accounts. He just keeps popping in with a different one. Right.
Yeah. That's all I got to say is thanks for the views, mate. We really appreciate it.
Actually, every single dodgy account he's got, we get a view for each one. So that's quite good. Just keep bumping those numbers.
Yeah. Carry on, you sad and pathetic human being. We love the fact that you've got nothing better to do with your life. It makes me so happy to know that you wallow in your own shit of crap feelings. And you must feel so bad about yourself that you have to come and try to bother us to make yourself feel better about it. You're pathetic.
Comment of the night goes to Stan the Man 450 for any Chelsea fans. The Old Kent Road is the cheapest square on Monopoly. Not really much to boast about.
Yeah, you got done by a board game. Fuck you.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. Listeners, I do apologize, okay? Whether you're in the chat box or whether you listen to iTunes or whatever, this has just become... It's an ever decreasing negative spiral at the moment, and I apologize, but that's what it feels like tonight. John, last couple of questions. Let's keep it short, guys. Don't carpenter the shit out of it in his birthday. That's my job. David Guna1 asks, should we have put O'Leary, Bold, or Keown on tonight? Surely they couldn't do much worse.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd actually like to see Bold come on for a game just because I guarantee he thought when Arsene left, he probably went, I'm going to get to do something now. And by all accounts, he's still just putting the cones out and nothing else. So I'd just like to see him come on because he must have so much rage and aggression just bubbling beneath the surface. And he'd absolutely put one on someone, I guarantee it. He'd just snap within a minute. It'd be amazing. It'd be a throwback to old 70s football.
You'd like to see him in that melee with Jesse Lingard, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you'd like to see that. Ellis, Matthew D'Souza asks, if Sokratis or Cos are not back come the last 16 quarter-final stage of the Europa League, is that our season done?
No, but it's going to be bloody difficult to get past that stage without any of our sort of first-ish choice centre-back pairing. So,
You think
first-ish.
I thought you said first-ish then. First-ish is bad enough. First-ish.
I'm really good at using words. That's why I come on here and talk good.
The Donald Trump of ABW.
Oh, you bastard.
Sorry, Freddie. Okay, and the last question that Loki73 asks, is it time for Europa League or bust? No, I don't think it is. I think you've got to keep on challenging. Obviously, you can manage a squad when it comes to Europa League games, but you've got to keep on challenging the league. Otherwise, what's the bloody point? Otherwise, we really are a shit show of a club if we're not doing that.
Just make sure if you bump into Gonzalo again, give him all your takeaway numbers and everything. I know everyone jokes about him being a bit tubby, but genuinely, he properly loves his food. He seriously loves his food. So if you can get him overweight, then he won't score the goals, because he will score goals for Chelsea otherwise. So we need to just keep chucking kebabs at him, and he will just eat them all day, and then that's it. He won't get the goals then.
Not in the stadium though, because
don't do that, because you'll get banned.
Yeah, buy him a pie whenever you see him. Buy him a pie. Right, that's it. That's it for tonight. A big thanks to everyone in the chat box. Thank you for being part of it. You're always superb. Even some of the United fans were all right. They were. There were some assholes in there as well, but some of them are all right. You're all brilliant. To those of you listening on other platforms, whether it be iTunes, Stitcher, whatever, thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. If you do want to be part of the chat box, just click subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the link, and go from there. A Santi Cazorla shirt we will be drawing this weekend, or around this weekend. Whenever I speak to Danny, to be honest with you, if you want to be part of that, there is a pinned tweet on our Twitter page and a pinned post on our Facebook page. You have to like and share the Facebook post. You have to like and retweet the tweet. Okay, you have to do both to be in on it. It is a signed Santi Cazorla shirt. They go for about 170, 180 quid or whatever it is. If you want to be part of it, do that and you go into the draw. Thank you for your support, guys. We really appreciate it. That's magic of you. Special shout outs to J Rob, David Guna1, and Aaron Hadari. Thank you ever so much for the donations. And finally, again, Emiliano Sala. Worst things happen than losing a football game, guys. Our thoughts to his family. It just really puts life into perspective. So, before we all go off on one, let's just think about that, okay? My thanks to you, John.
Thank you very much, Jace.
Bad mood, John Welsh.
Bad mood, bad omen for any game I'm on. Looking forward to Cardiff.
I'll tell you what, mind you guys, okay, when John says he took a night off last week, okay?
Whoa. Let's not go into what I do in my spare time, okay?
He had somewhere to go. That's all we're going to say. He obviously hasn't listened to last week's radio show because he hasn't made any comment. But I tell you what, okay, the boy's a legend. That's all I got to say. I'm talking to legends, the bastard love child of Saddam Hussein and Freddie Mercury. Freddie Hussein, thank you very much. You've been magic tonight.
Thank you for having me on. I would say it's been a pleasure, but I forgot how much I actually get bullied, not only in the chat, but also by the host of the show. So it's not really been a pleasure. The result wasn't good, and I come here because I love to talk about Arsenal, regardless of the result. Yay.
Sorry, mate. You superb. Guys, thank you ever so much. Thank you all out there. Take care. Good night. Keep it Arsenal. John, switch this shit off.